Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. So today I'm going to talk to you about change. Here in the UK, over the last few days, we've had a huge change in the loss of the Queen. And it feels to me like this time of year as well, just generally is filled with change. You know, the kids are going back to school. We're, perhaps me personally, I'm going to be taking my daughter back to university today. The leaves are starting to change colour. So in nature and in our lives, there is a lot of change. And I think that was really, I can't think of an appropriate phrase, but revved up, I suppose. That was brought to the fore much more with the death of the Queen last week. And change is part of life, is something that I have grown to see. This weekend, I've also been, as well as helping my daughter kind of pack up for university and helping her to let go of some stuff and do a bit of decluttering. We also have been doing a massive amount of decluttering in this house. I've been in this house for 21 years, and since we've got the motorhome and since we've started pottering around in Trevor, I've seen, like, my view of stuff has changed dramatically, because I've seen that I can be okay with the minimum amount of stuff. Sometimes I sit in the motorhome where I've spent weeks and weeks over the summer working and doing pleasurable stuff, and just thought, goodness gracious, all this stuff, all the stuff in the house I'm not using. It's not being used. It's just sitting there. and that's really interesting to me. So change, I think, so what I'm seeing there is I'm having a changing relationship with stuff. I'm thinking differently about stuff. I'm seeing it in a different way. And what I'm also seeing about change is that it's part of life. And I had a few cries over the last few days, which is fine. And I'll probably have a little cry today because my daughter's going back to university and I will miss her. But that's a human response to change. We're supposed to feel it, and we feel it because we think about it in a particular way. Because I'm sure you've experienced some changes in your life where you've not really had much of a response to it, or you've had a different response to somebody else close to you, perhaps. I really noticed it when my father died, that my brother and I had a very different relationship with him passing. And we were, we're just two different people with two different ways of thinking. And neither response to how my father's death was right. But it was just noticing that they were different. So change is part of life, and it will always be happening. It can feel terrible, can't it? If we are in a place of resistance. And that feels to me like life, if we think life is supposed to be like this, everything's supposed to stay the same. We can manage a little bit of change, but it's all supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be a straight line. But life is not like that. Life is this, it's like I don't know, like a a spiraling, twisting, turning thing is life. And if we're like holding the straight line and we're not open to the fact that life isn't a straight line, what we're going to feel is the bashing against life. That's going to be the discomfort. That's going to be the pain and the suffering. Is this, this resistance to change. And it's human to feel that, but it can get to the point where it causes us to feel really stressed and really upset and not be able to function as well. And that's where we can shine a light on it and start to see that it is this experience of life that we're having, this experience that's created via our thinking. And like I said before, we can see that because we can see that not everybody is having the same experience as us. Like, let's take the unfortunate passing of the Queen. Well, as I say that, it's sad, but it's also, for me, it's wow, what a woman to celebrate. She lived to her late 90s doing the same job for 70 years and was doing that job just a few days before she died. And wow, what a thing to be amazed by, that somebody lives to 96 even. I know they're saying our lifespans are getting longer, but for a lot of people they're not. A lot of people won't make it to 96. And how wonderful to have lived such a rich life. And I don't mean financially rich, I mean rich in experience, rich in the things and the messages she's given us. And I've seen lots of beautiful quotes over the last few days of things I never knew she said were really wise. She's seen, goodness knows, somebody shared a post that had all the different prime ministers and popes, and presidents and all the people she's seen come and go in her time. And how amazing is that? So, it's a time of sadness, but it's a time of change and a time of celebration. It's all those things. But of course, there will be some people who will only be able to see it from the point of view of sadness. There'll be some people who don't care at all. I posted something the other day and somebody put a really quite unpleasant comment because they clearly don't have any affinity with the royal family. They couldn't even say something nice about the Queen dying. And I was surprised and shocked by that comment. But then I just thought, well, that's the thinking that makes sense to them. So they're now having a completely different experience of the Queen passing, as everybody is. Anybody who's aware of it, and there'll be millions of people in the world who are not aware, by the way, but anybody who is aware of it will have a different experience of it, because change is like that. Change, it's not the thing. It's not the thing happening. It's not the change in our life. It's not the change that's a national change. It is our thinking about that change that creates our experience. And for me, it's been more about, there's a great grandma, a grandma, a mother who's gone. So, and this is okay. Like, this is why I quite celebrate that I have a little cry for you on these on these sessions. I don't do it for you, by the way, it just happens. That it's okay. It's okay to have a moment with it. It's okay to have a little cry. You don't have to analyze it. You don't have to work it out. It's just letting you know that you've got some sad thinking at the moment, or some frustrated thinking, or some angry thinking, or some thinking that says life is doing all this flapping about and I just want it to be a flipping straight line. And there's something amazing that happens when we let go of trying to make life be a straight line. It's not meant to be a straight line. It's meant to be something that moves and changes and reforms, like, I don't know, like an amorphous blob that just keeps, I've been doing it like a line and a straight line and a not straight line, but maybe it's more jellified than that it's like something that keeps pouring itself into different shaped jelly molds and coming out a different shape all the time. And I remember actually it's brought back a conversation I had with a client recently where we talked about that, and he kind of said, I'd like to be more jelly, more able to flow between different shapes and be different shapes and have that kind of non-rigid sense of flowing and moving about. And the only thing that's ever stopping that happening for us is our thinking, is our state of mind, is our perspective. And the wonderful thing is that we're always being told by our system that is the case. If our thinking is off, we're going to feel that in our bodies, and that none of this is about bypassing emotions or not having them. It's just acknowledging what they are. We're feeling our thinking. We're feeling our state of mind. We're feeling the perspective that we have on something. We're feeling the fact that we want life to be like this, and life is this ever-changing amorphous blob, apparently. It's now become an ever-changing amorphous blob. So do what you will with the ever-changing amorphous blob of life, because that's what it is. It's an ever-changing, never still blob of life. And if we try to hold it still, it'll fight back, and we'll feel that. It feels horrible. So I'm just inviting you here to be in the space of looking in that direction, but also to be kind to yourself as you navigate change in life as it's happening right now. Sending lots of love. Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.